and welcome to another episode of Cup of Joe. I'm Liz Roesel with Sea Level Social, and I'm joined with Joe Pettit of Joe Pettit Inspires and Kern Halls of Ingenious Culinary Concepts. And we have quite the series for you right now. We are in the middle of a 7-part series that actually included a bonus episode because we were far too excited about this series. But we are talking about the virtues of a school nutrition leader. And today's episode, we're gonna talk about having a unified vision. So we're really excited to bring this topic to you. With that, I will pass it over to Joe and we'll get to chatting about as we continue the series on.
Yeah, thank you so much, Liz, Kern. Good to see you both. Good to see everybody who's tuned in with us today. You know, as Liz said, a 7-part series. We should have just called this a whole season just on virtues of leadership. It's too many parts. We should have broken this up in a different way, but we'll work on that. We'll work on that. That's all me. Sorry, guys, but get excited about something and just want to jump right into it. So, you know, I believe that there's so many other things. We've talked about trust. We've talked about humility. We talked about, you know, hiring the right folks. And, you know, I believe that in order for us as a leader to really push our program forward and to really make an impact, is that we must have a unified vision. The reason I say that is because if you're going to get in a car and go on a trip, well, you need to know where you're going. You need to have that vision of understanding where you're going because you have some clarity. Now, you know, there might be a time and a place for just getting in the car and riding around, but that's not typical, right? And so when you get in there, you need to know where you're going so that all your energy can be moving in the same direction of where you're trying to end up. And the same is true as a leader with your company. What you're wanting to do as a leader is really to be able to get in, tell everybody where you're going, where you're heading, what's the big picture, what's the dream, because with that clarity, you're going to be able to bring that type of thriving energy. You won't have as much negative energy because you're going to all know where you're going, and that vision needs to be unified. And the reason I say unified is because, Kern, you know, what happens so often, you probably have seen it in different workplaces, is that you have division, right? And that division is what we're trying to stay away from. So what are some ways that you believe that unified vision will help us as a leader in school nutrition?
Yeah, Joe, nice seeing you again. And Liz, you know, vision, you know, the word says my people perish for lack of vision, and you got to have vision in order to lead, right? But sometimes I see a lot of leaders, they say they have a vision, but they haven't had any exposure. Right. So one of the things about exposure is that now if I'm in this, I give you a quick example about myself in K through 12, I always treat it as retail. Right. So I always made sure that I visited Universal Studios, Walt Disney World, even management companies that are doing a great job. I wanted to set a vision that was above the goal that we really wanted to set for. And I think sometimes we just don't have any exposure. So therefore it kind of dampens the vision. And then your vision has to be kind of large, right? So it almost has to be the point where it kind of scares you, right? So you know that, okay, I know I can do so much. I can get to number 6 or 7 out of 10, but how am I actually gonna get to number 10 and execute it? And I think we were forced right now with COVID-19 to really expand your vision of ways how you did things. So you were really just forced, you know, a few months ago to really have a different vision. Who thought we'd be feeding students off of buses or, you know, through the bus loops, or just sending 5 days worth of food home or multiple days, however it might be. And it's just totally different. So as human beings, we're able to go out and do these things, but we have to kind of stretch ourselves and make sure that we can obtain that vision to lead our team to the next level, Joe.
It's so common. I love the way you said exposure as well, because I believe that's a lot of times for us to be able to see that big vision. Sometimes we need to be able to have that exposure of other folks. And I guess for you school nutrition leaders, really what I'm really wanting you to understand is that in order for us to be able to break that division, we have to get those separate divisions. Die meaning two. We know what that word means. If you have 2 or more visions, that division is going to cause separation. It's going to cause more gossip. Those are some of the symptoms of division. But then what's going to happen is you're going to be wasting a lot of energy. But virtuous leaders, I believe, understand how a unified vision can bring unthinkable results. And isn't that really what we're looking for, Liz? Or results that we never imagined possible?
I would think in this year, yeah, we need unthinkable results because we're doing the unthinkable. I saw something on social that was like, you're putting together a puzzle. You have no idea what this puzzle is supposed to look like, but here you are putting it together. When you were listening to both of you talk about vision, it's definitely made me more cognizant of having your team clued in on your vision. So something that I know all three of us do, we do keynote speeches obviously there was a lot of back to school at the time of us recording this. It's end of August, so a lot of us just did those. But what was great to hear after a couple of virtual keynotes that I did was that it kept the conversation going for the director and the team to talk about what's our vision for the rest of the year. And it was a little bit more on specific goals we have, but same similar concept is cluing all of them in on your vision too, so that they're all on board as they navigate the new school year. So yeah, unthinkable is a great term, Joe, for that.
Yeah, and that's really what we're looking for. So folks, it's not too late. No matter where you are in life, no matter where you are in leadership, it's never too late to really determine, and that's what I want you to take away from this, is what is your vision as a person? I believe when you know what your vision is as a person, then you'll be able to kind of help let that build upon what your team's vision is, because it's unified in how you bring everybody together. You can have multiple people building and doing it in a different way, but I believe for a virtue of a school nutrition leader, you need to have one vision for your team.
Nice. Well, we have 2 more episodes in this season of Cup of Joe, which I like that you called it season, Joe. We should go with that. We have 2 more episodes coming up. Next is Bold Yet Composed, which I really love that you proposed that, Joe, because I like when we tackle topics where I just know people are absolutely struggling with how do I maintain being bold and decisive, yet composed and continuing to lead my team. So perfect topic coming up next. New episodes every Wednesday on Ingenious Culinary Concepts and on Joe Pettit Inspires. Thank you both so much, Joe and Kern.
Thank you.